The riffs are too repetitive, the lyrics make no sense. All the songs are B-sides and the cover art's a mess. There's so much here to tear apart. Listen to it for a week, now that week has passed. It's Why I Hate This Album podcast with Tim and Garrett.
Hello and welcome to another episode of Why I Hate This Album. I am one of your hosts, Garrett Harvey. With me, as always, co-host extraordinaire, Cecil to my Bob, Timothy Richardson. Tim, been an entire week. How the hell are you, friend?
As usual, it's a little good and it's a little bad this week, my good friend of officially 20 years. 20 years!
How many times are you going to keep saying that? Don't say till it's 21.
Ooh, 21 will be cool.
Will it?
Anyway,
our friendship
Garrett.
will be old enough to drink? Is that what you're thinking?
No, that's stupid. My legs hurt. My legs hurt a lot.
Why is that?
The dogs have been stabbing me, Garrett, all week.
Define stabbing.
With knives. They've been stabbing my legs. Well, stabbing and slashing, I should say.
Yeah, I would say much more slashing than stabbing. Why don't you break it down? We have implemented some new security measures here at the world headquarters for our doggies. Tim's brainchild, and I gotta say, it's working.
Yeah, no one gets near them. As you know, due to a recent incident of dog-related violence here in the Big Apple, which we do not need to get into because it is genuinely upsetting, I have decided that Yogi and Batman need to learn to defend themselves if they ever find themselves in a knife battle. So, obviously, I've attached some of your lesser-used hunting knives from your under-the-floorboards closet to their tails and making them into Scorpio dogs. Still working on a good name for that, admittedly.
Yeah, not a great name. Not a great name.
Doggians. No, that doesn't work either. Anyway, they love it, Garrett. They love this.
Yeah, that's weird.
What really warms my heart is I guess I never realized just how happy these dogs are hanging out with us because they've been wagging those tail knives all over the place and just stabbing my legs mercilessly.
Yeah, you never realize just how much your dog's tail wags until every single swipe brings a fresh blade cut. But Tim, we're not here to talk about tail blades.
I like that.
I know, right? That feels good, but scorpion dogs does not.
True. Oh, if it helps any, I've also acquired a large amount of scorpion poison to put on the blades. It will arrive in the mail tomorrow.
Excellent. The more DNA and foreign substances we can get on those knives, the better.
Jesus Christ.
Anyway,
I would argue
I said anyway. What song have we been listening to for an entire week straight?
We have been listening to the presumably sexy Scissor Sister song.
No, what?
Take Your Mama, released on Garrett Harvey's 38th birthday, March 29th, 2004.
That is untrue. That is very untrue.
That is when it was released.
Oh, sure. That is when it was released. I apologize. And Tim, after an entire week with the sisters Scissor, very curious, do you hate this song?
No. There's a small but that we will get into, though.
Interesting.
Because given that this was your pick, I feel like there's some sort of weird subtext that you meant for me to get out of this, and I'm uncomfortable with a fair amount of this song. What
Already
about
letting you know, I didn't.
Okay, well, I'm still going to get into it and grill you about it because, well, I wrote 2 pages on it. Maybe we'll cut it. It doesn't matter. Garrett, do you hate this song?
No, not at all. I don't hate it. It's not as listenable as I thought it was going to be.
Disagree.
Interesting. Well, we'll get into it in a minute. No, I don't hate it, nor do I actually think I'm going to get there this week, folks. Disappointingly, I'm going to call my shot. I will be surprised if either of us get there this week, although I have been wrong before. But before we can get into the nitty-gritty, I am curious, Timmy, prior to this week, what's your history with these Scissor Sisters, and have you ever taken your mama out?
I remember this from college. I remember a bunch of our, shall I say, ass-face friends in college playing this constantly, and also that cover of Comfortably Numb.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's pretty much it. I don't know, since I've left college, I don't think I've probably heard it a time or two, but minimal. Anyway, is this the first time you've ever scissored with a sister?
No, and wait.
No, you know what? I'm going to stick with it. Is this the first time you've ever scissored with a sister?
No, I have not. In college, I got several of my friends together and tricked them into constantly playing it on other people's computers. It was endlessly hilarious.
Okay, so you were the ass-face friend. God damn it.
100%. Classic Garrett move. Don't be the hands, be the brain. Tell the hands what to do.
That's how you see the rest of us, huh?
In that scenario, absolutely. Those people were my hands. I was basically Shredder and they were the foot.
Interesting. You did wear a lot of blades about your body.
Yeah. No, I insisted that a lot of people call me Shredder, not you. That would have been weird. We're friends.
I'm into this.
That would make you Master Tatsu. But enough about the original Ninja Turtles movie. Unless you folks want more. hatepodmail@gmail.com. Title your email Turtle Talk. We'll get into it. That's your history. That's my history. That is to say, we've heard this song a bunch of times in 2007 and maybe one other time since then. But before we can talk about the album, and that is to say the song, we need to understand a little bit about the people that made it. So Tim, take us on a journey. Help us understand who are these Scissoring Sisters and how did this little earworm of a song known as Take Your Mama come to be?
Well, Gank, prepare yourself because this one may get slightly after dark. After dark.
Really?
The Scissor Sisters were formed by Jason Sellards, aka Jake Shears, former bullied Washington student who moved to the Big Apple on what seems like a whim after meeting a guy in Lexington, Kentucky at 19. Garrett, that guy was Scott Hoffman, Columbia student, also known as Baby Daddy. According to Wikipedia, for a real-life quote-unquote baby daddy, see their page on Father.
Oh, God damn it.
Once in the Big Apple, Jake Shears and Baby Daddy really enjoyed Big Apple gay culture enough that they began the band Scissor Sisters in 2001. The band was originally named Dead Lesbian, but that was just too on the nose, so they changed it to Fibrillating Scissor Sisters, named for when ladies just kind of scissor.
And just mash their bits together?
Yeah, just kind of. Anyway, at first it was just the two of them, with Jake writing lyrics and Baby Daddy composing the music. Nobody liked this at all. While Fibrillating Scissor Sisters were failing miserably on the Lower East Side, they decided to take a trip to Disneyland to see Captain EO, a film starring Michael Jackson, written by George Lucas and directed by Francis Ford Coppola, aka Nicholas Kim Coppola's uncle. At this screening, they met Anna Lynch, aka Animatronic, and were enraptured, so much so that they decided to take her on sort of a 3-person date on a teacup ride.
This is so weird.
Anna, also from the Big Apple, coincidentally, ran a weekly cabaret at the Slipper Room, which had, as the interwebs described it, a racy, multi-gender review of kitsch, as well as a lady dressed as a giant vagina who sang Lick Me in My Wet Spot to the tune of Hit Me With Your Best Shot by Patricia Benatar, after dark, probably.
This is just good, clean fun, Tim.
Anna invited the boys to perform, and as the ash still fell from the sky around the Big Apple,
come on.
These boys performed with Anna at the Slipper Room on September 21st, 2001, just a single day after President George W. Bush, our fearless leader, declared what would eventually be proven to be a very successful war on terror to a joint session of Congress.
Now, sort of depends on how you define terror and success, but sure.
It was extremely successful, Garrett, because the behavior these boys were getting up to is exactly the type of behavior those terrorists were trying to stop, and we did not let them win.
I thought they hated French fries.
No. That's Canadians. French Canadians. Anyway, the boys ask Anna to be a permanent member, and they drop the fibrillating from their name. Then future lead guitarist Derek Gruen, aka Del Marquis, saw them perform at The Cock, a Big Apple gay bar, and hated them before deciding to join them. And
talk about on the nose.
Garrett, this leads me to something I wanted to speak with you about. We are really not taking advantage of everything this city has to offer, and I have composed an itinerary for the next couple of weeks for us to explore.
Listen, you have your hangouts, I have my hangouts. They're different, and sometimes time apart is good. I really don't want to go to your hangouts.
We're gonna go.
Okay, look, number 3 on this list just says The Bushes.
Yeah.
Is that any bushes?
No.
Or is that
that's
like
a
specific
very
bushes?
Specific gay bar.
Oh my God.
It's actually the basement of The Cock.
Oh, I'm out. No, thank you. Just no, thank you.
Then Patrick Secor, aka Patty Boom, noted heterosexual, joined on drums, telling his scandalized mother, it's not a gay band. There are gay members, sure, but it doesn't matter. It's about the music and about performance.
The members are gay, the songs are gay, the performances are predominantly gay and to a gay audience, but no, I wouldn't call it a gay band.
It fucking matters, Patty Boom. Anyway, Garrett, in In 2002, they signed with A Touch of Class to a 2-single deal, which is the first time I've ever heard of a 2-single deal.
Yeah, what? Like, I'll sign somebody to a 2-single deal. That does
You
not
did,
seem like a
actually.
huge... You
remember when you did that?
I do not. I do not.
With Blake's
Oh,
band?
yeah, I did. I did literally that. Did you bait me into this? How did this happen? I did exactly this. I'll shut up
A
now.
coincidence. Anyway, they released Electro Bix, which was about how gay men like to work out, and a disco-y cover of Comfortably Numb, which I'm sure we've both heard because we've already discussed how we've both heard it. People in the UK liked the cover, and they got to go tour Europe, which they happily did, believing people there would be more receptive to their, say, aesthetic than people in the US. They signed with Polydor based on the Comfortably Numb cover. They started releasing singles in the UK and Australia. They had a song over the ending credits of Party Monster, a film partly based on a crime that Garrett committed and then pinned on what he described as some other guy.
God, what was that guy's name? Alec something?
It doesn't matter, Garrett. He's dead now. So they released the Song of the Week as a single. They released their eponymous album, which I suspect we should have done all of, in 2004. And then Bono described them as the best pop group in the world. And that doesn't sound
Reminding all
right.
of us, don't trust Bono.
Well, see, that's the thing. 1 year later, he would give us the recommendation of Black Rebel Motorcycle Club's Howl. So I don't know.
That recommendation came from Bono?
Yes, it did.
That seems
He kept shouting,
wrong.
I made the Joshua Tree, listen to this band, right in your face, and eventually we did. And it's good. 6 months later, the album was released in the US, and they were on live with Regis and Kelly. Kelly really enjoyed them. Regis was, and this is true, confused.
In Regis's defense, before the performance began, he was in fact confused.
Yes. They were less popular in the US. Walmart refused to carry the record, saying it was a quote-unquote snarling, swaggering attack on conservatism. Which, yeah, it is.
Wow, that's amazing. That's nuts. So Walmart was just like, this is too gay.
Yeah.
That's crazy. Like, I
Listen, and I don't want to pick a side here, but Garrett, I think we can agree it's a little bit too gay.
Sure,
I'm not saying it shouldn't be gay. I'm just saying it's about 12% too gay.
Oh, absolutely. And if the song isn't, the music video certainly is.
I like
right?
the music video.
I like both. Tim, I
good.
like both.
Good.
They're just, you asked me, is it 11 to 12% too gay? And, listen, as a not gay man, maybe it's not really my place to say, but it feels a little gayer than they meant it to be.
Yeah, dial it back 11 to 12%. Baby Daddy remarked that we did have to slap a parental warning sticker on the disc, which is completely absurd. I think a kid listening to Eminem is getting a much more negative message than what we've been putting forward. We've only got one shit and a few tits.
Yeah, I was going to say, there's like nothing explicitly vulgar about this band.
Little too gay, though. A little bit.
Little too gay. Just listen, a touch.
Or not gay enough. Right.
Yes, you're right. It's either 11% too gay or 89% not gay enough.
Absolutely. They released Ta-Da in 2006. They did Live 8. They collaboed with one of our collective favorites, Franz Ferdinand. They collaboed with noted fraudster Elton John for a song that went on to hit #1 in the UK.
Fraudster? Is this some sort of crypto thing?
No. He stole money from me. $407.
Let it go. He did. He has no idea he even did it.
Yeah, he does. I get a Christmas card from him every year. And in every year, the numbers 407 are on that card somewhere. He knows exactly what he's doing.
Has the audacity to send you a single crisp dollar bill.
No, I'd appreciate that. It would be somewhat of a repayment. Anyway, Garrett, Scissor Sisters went on to tour with Depeche Mode. They played Coachella. They headlined the Isle of Wight Festival, or a festival on the Isle of Wight. I don't know. They played Wembley Arena. They appeared on 2 consecutive days of the daytime soap opera Passions. Blah, blah, blah. They're doing pretty good. Then they took a short hiatus in 2007, briefly performing as Queef Latina and Debbie's Harry. Patty Boom then left, and they hired drummer Randy Real Schrager. After working for 18 months on a new album, they completely abandoned it, eventually releasing a different album, Nightwork, in 2010, which was described as sleazy and super sexual. And then they were openers for Lady Gaga on the Monster Ball tour in 2011. They released Magic Hour in 2012, and they announced an indefinite hiatus. They did a collabo charity record in 2017, but they really haven't done much since. The other guys have all done solo albums and whatnot. Doesn't really matter. It's not really that interesting. LaFace. place.
Ooh, a very happy and succinct shalby to you. Boy, I gotta say, what kind of expectations do you have as the guitar player for Scissor Sisters going solo? You're not expecting to sell a lot of albums, right?
Oh, I think the guitar player actually put together a second band and did all right.
No shit. Good for him.
Yeah.
Wow. Pretty brief history, Tim. We haven't had one that wraps up so quickly in quite some time.
We could just sit here in silence for a good 10 minutes or so and,
Yeah, we can always cut it out if it doesn't lead to anything, but let's give it a go.
Well, that was horrible. Why did we do that?
I don't know why we did that. That was a terrible idea. Well, Gino, we're going to cut all that. All of it. All the silence. No, all of it. Why would we leave 2 minutes?
Actually 2 minutes feels kind of right.
Do not help him. Do not help him. Okie dokie, Timmy. We've been through our history. We've been through their history. That brings us to the track itself. Before we go another step, let's have a little taste. Let's give everyone just a listen of Scissor Sisters' Take Your Mama. Good stuff. Yeah,
catchy.
Not bad stuff.
Catchy stuff.
Yeah, that's a good place to start. Catchy stuff. Upbeat, good hooks. Catchy, gets in your brain. Musically, I don't know how I would characterize it.
Yeah, there are some hints of glam rock. There's some definite indie rock circa 2001. Like this, it does fit in there. There's some Goodbye Yellow Brick Road in there.
Right. I was going to say there's some early 70s pop rock as well.
Right. Yeah, it's a weird mix.
Well, let's talk about the Elton John of it. If this guy had a better voice, this band would have been more successful, because that is definitely the sound that is most resonant in my mind when I hear this band.
It feels like somebody covering Elton John.
Yeah, there it is. And to a lesser extent, it's not bad. They're good musicians, but that lead singer not being able to belt it out quite like Elton, you sound too similar that everybody's going to make the comparison, and then you're going to come up short because it's Elton fucking John. It's not your fault.
Yeah, I do enjoy when he hits the highs. Apparently, they didn't do that as much in concert later on in their career.
I don't doubt them. Yeah, they do a lot of fun falsettos. Do enjoy that quite a bit. That's the vocal. That's the music. I guess we'll get into the content in a minute. Is there anything else you want to talk about relative to the song before we turn to the lyrics?
No.
I guess I could say this. Did not remember that there were bongos in this song.
Oh, yeah. A little disappointed there weren't tiny bongos prominently in the music video, but we'll get there later.
Sure. Well, I mean, this music video has everything you could possibly want, so how dare you chastise them for not being similar to... God, I don't even remember who that was anymore.
Doesn't matter.
Doesn't matter. All right. Song opens up with, when you grow up, living like a good boy oughta, and your mama takes a shine to her best son. And let's pause right there, because before I got all the way through the song, Tim, I was worried. This does not sound good. Sounds like mama's taking a shine.
Yeah, there are some uncomfortable undertones here. It's uncomfortable phrasing, and it's uncomfortable enough phrasing that knowing what the song is actually about, it still comes off as this is going to take a weird left turn into incest. And I don't like it.
Yeah, luckily we could just warn everybody right up front. It doesn't.
Right.
Relax.
Right.
But it sounds
these
like
lines. Yeah, come on.
What the intended meaning, I suspect, is that this young boy gets along with his mama better than either of them ever could have hoped.
Which again comes off as seedy sounding.
Not untrue. Song continues, something different. All the girls, they seem to like you because you're handsome, like to talk, and a whole lot of fun. And I mean, we try never, ever to stereotype here on this show. But I think no one will argue with the general statement, women often like gay men because they are better groomed, better maintained, and they're not trying to fuck you.
I think they're just better. We should just say that about gay men. If you had to hang out with a man, make it a gay man, no matter what your gender is.
You know, that's interesting, Tim, because I hate making friends, right?
Yeah.
And now I'm thinking about it, like if I have to make friends, this is very interesting. I've never thought about this. I think I got to go with the lesbians. Me and the lesbians have always gotten along. If I had to make friends with somebody sight unseen, 9 times out of 10, I'm going to be more successful with a lesbian woman than just a heterosexual man.
Well, Garrett,
I'm threatened by the men, Tim.
Yeah, no,
I'm threatened
I know
by them,
you're
and I
very
must
threatened.
establish dominance. I must display it and let them know that they are subservient to me.
The first part of this sounded very much like something Larry David would say, and now this is just weird. I'm uncomfortable.
Well, you've seen it. You've witnessed it, right? You've seen me. I have to establish the dominance. They're subtle. It's not like I'm not hurting anyone.
You're veering way too far into Dennis Reynolds territory, and you gotta stop. Stop talking about dominance. Stop talking about being a gold god. Stop talking about being a gold cobra.
Gold Cobra has been my nickname long before golden gods were ever mentioned on that show.
That's not true.
That's not my fault. Please don't contradict me.
But now your girl has gone a-missing, and your house has got an empty bed. The folks will wonder about the wedding. They won't listen to a word you said. Now, the obvious read here is he stopped pretending, and his parents are having a little bit of a hard time dealing with it.
Yeah. I also thought maybe a beard might have fallen through.
Sure.
Might have had one lined up.
Sure. Now, here's where I get into the conspiracy of it all, because maybe this song is not about a gay man at all. Perhaps he's a straight man who has certain urges, Garrett, certain murderous urges, and he has killed his fiancée. And then this whole gay thing is just a cover so his parents will stop asking questions. You know, why is the wedding canceled? Where's Gabby,
Carol?
Brian? What do you mean she decided to stay by herself on the Tetons? That doesn't make any goddamn sense.
What could you possibly have done that made her so angry that she's literally never going to speak to you again and doesn't want to hear from any of us?
I'm gay.
I'm gay.
Right.
You're gay.
Yeah.
Yup. Super gay. And she is not buried in a very deep grave.
Yeah. Now, my point here is, of course, you shouldn't assume that somebody coming out is
not a cover for a murder.
Well, here, okay, let me rephrase and say the exact opposite. You shouldn't
that's what you said.
automatically assume that somebody coming out is trying to cover up a murder. You should believe them. You should not make a bunch of crazy accusations. But every once in a while, that's exactly what someone is doing. And I have seen Jake Shears in this music video, and while I do get a bit of a gay vibe from him, the guy also has the energy of a murderer. Does he not? Like, he has the energy of somebody that could go from zero to violence immediately. And it's great. Like, that's what draws you in.
Regardless.
He's so
the amount of tap dancing you just did to not offend or make wild accusations. And then to just out and out say that a specific famous person that everyone can reach out to might be a killer.
No.
I don't mind. It's just why bother with the first part?
I'm not saying that he is. In fact, I'm saying he's almost certainly not. I'm just saying.
It does not sound that way.
I'm just saying that I think he would be good at it. I think he could get away with it.
I mean, that's the weirdest compliment I've ever heard, but it definitely was one.
If you come across this guy in the woods, let's say you're in the Tetons, and you come across a guy living that van life, and he turns around and just gives you the facial expression, the enthusiasm that he's got in this music video. He just turns around and looks at you with that face. You're not going to mention the fact that there's a corpse here. You're just going to move right past it. Just okay, man.
Yeah, that's true. That's true.
I'm not saying that he's killed people. In fact, I'm saying he's almost certainly, I would bet Garrett's life that he hasn't.
Oh, goodness. All right, well, stepping back from your wild accusations of murder, let's assume the song is about a man who's come out as gay. And that got me thinking, Tim, is it legal to run a beard service for it's a much smaller business now because we're a lot more tolerant about the gay community than not even tolerant, we're a lot more accepting than we used to be. But let's just assume we can move to like Georgia or something. And can we run a bride rental service as long as there's no like intercourse? It's basically like renting a knockoff Spider-Man for like 3 to 10 years. Here's the problem.
What you end up doing, because I've run a very similar business. It was
had a lot of like
let's not say the immigration thing. My point is, Garrett, the problem when you run a business like this is that inevitably what you just start having is straight men that start renting women from you.
Yeah, that's a problem, isn't it?
It happens day one.
Day one?
Yeah. So, and here is what is illegal. If you run this completely legitimate business and men come requesting a beard, you cannot make them prove that they're gay and not some sort of straight man who's running a scam on you.
Yeah, that's true. And what's really mind-blowing is, let's assume for a moment that you got this business set up, you're renting wives for gay men. Well, one of these sneaky straight men gets gets in there, as you would, and he rents himself a wife, and she's, she gets a little side deal going. He pays her for intercourse. You and I could go down.
Well, sure, and we should definitely be getting a cut of that if that's what's happening.
Oh, absolutely. We gotta wet that beak, but that's not even my point. We're not even wetting that beak, and we could go to jail for being pimps, and that's not our goal. We just wanted to provide temporary wives and husbands for people who are either so uncomfortable with who they are, or perhaps are in a scenario with incredibly close-minded relatives or friends, and they need a fake wife or husband. It's nothing weird.
Listen, I mean, I'm on board for starting this business.
I like that. Well, here's another thing. Attorneys write in hatepodmail@gmail.com because you are getting married. That's a legal document. Is it illegal to get married if you don't love the other person? Well, listen to me. That can't be the case. Dozens, if not millions of people get married every year that hate each other.
That's true, but I assume if we did this, when people get married for like visa reasons,
sure,
green card wedding, I guess it's called. So I assume there would be government agents that would be coming to these weddings and then following these people around, interviewing them, knowing that they had used our service, because eventually, taxes and whatnot, it would get back to them. Otherwise, we have to have this whole second business that's a cover. And then,
that's the beauty, Tim. We'll have to think of a name, something clever, ideally, but we're wedding rentals. It's just a wedding rental. It's a rental for your wedding, but the rental isn't stemware. It's a person.
Another way we could leverage this is we could have first of all, we're going to call it beard brides.
Beards wedding rentals?
No, beard brides.
Oh, obviously. Beard brides. Well done.
And then
beard bride rentals.
And yeah, sure. And then, of course, we're going to have an A&E television show following this whole thing around, make a little second stream of income there. Now, that does, of course, kind of blow it for the men that are renting this in secret. Yeah, fuck them.
Blur out their faces or something.
No, fuck them.
Yeah, fuck them. Honestly, that's A&E's problem. We just have to put together the sizzle reel. They don't even have to be real people. This is such a good idea.
But okay, here's the thing. What if, just running this as a straight business, gay man comes, we charge one price, straight man comes, we charge a higher price, knowing that those two are probably going to bang.
Yeah, it's like a tax.
Right.
Well,
so I guess what I'm saying is simultaneously we'll run an above ground business with beard brides, and then underneath the surface we'll run a little prostitution scam. You see?
Well, yeah, and here's the thing. That's just insurance. We don't know that they slept together. We probably did, but we're just taking a little piece. We call it the hetero tax.
Sure.
Or if they're willing to wear some sort of dick cage.
No, we can't enforce that.
We can't enforce it, but we can offer it if they voluntarily lock up that beast. Then and it's not like you got to be able to wash it and stuff. I'm just saying.
No. We're not doing this thing that you're suggesting here. The point is, okay,
sorry. Dick cages aside, let's get serious. I love this idea. So we got a legitimate business just below the surface, prostitution ring, and I got to be honest with you. The thing I'm most excited about,
prostitution.
But not for the reason you're thinking. I've always wanted to launder money, and now I'm going to have illicit funds to do that. Ooh, we should start another business to launder the money.
Ooh, yeah.
It'll be a laundromat.
No.
Too obvious?
It's just too on the nose, Garrett.
Okay, that's fine. Well, you think of a business and we'll create a shell, and then we'll funnel the money from our illegal prostitution ring from our legal wedding rental service. This is great.
Here's the other thing. Again, because, and rightfully so, people's attitudes are changing now. The beard brides might not even be necessary.
Sure. Well, we got the insurance. Just go full-time prostitution.
Yeah. Right. And here's the other thing. We can also hire male prostitutes for the gay clientele. What?
But they don't get married. They just fuck for money.
Well, no one's getting married anymore, Garrett. This is we're done with that.
Listeners, if you were ever wondering how did the podcast come to be, that's pretty much it. That whole rap sesh. Last time it ended with a podcast. This time we've become pimps. Neat. Song continues. We're gonna take your mama out all night. Yeah, we'll show her what it's all about. We'll get her all jacked up on some cheap champagne. We'll let the good times all roll out. And if the music ain't good, well, it's just too bad. We're gonna sing along no matter what. Because the dancers don't mind at the New Orleans if you tip them and they make a cut. All right, lots in there. This is the chorus, of course. Do it! take your mama out all night. God, you know what? I love this song.
Yeah,
it's
a
really
great
fun.
song. But who's the we? Because it's we're gonna take your mama out tonight. Because what they claim this song is about,
The fellas?
what they claim that it was inspired by Shears's coming out to his mother and portraying a homosexual man showing his mother the activities of gay nightlife in order to bond with her following his coming out. Which for
That's there.
Well, sure, but then who's the we're going to take your mama out all night?
Yeah, it's the fellas. Him and the fellas.
Okay.
I don't know.
Are they taking her out to get banged by sleazy strippers so she will understand why her son is so into this scene?
Not banged, but close. Like
like
real close. Because they do say the dancers don't mind at the New Orleans. The club New Orleans was in fact a famous, nay infamous, gay bathhouse in the New Orleans French Quarter that has since closed down, likely because of the rampant sex in the bathhouse, I assume. So I think they're going to take her to a bathhouse and, like I said, not going to have intercourse, but really close. Song continues, do it. Take your mama out all night. So she'll have no doubt that we're doing, the best we can. We're going to do it. Take your mama out all night. You can stay up late because, baby, you're a full-grown man. That's, of course, the overly enthusiastic friend that means well, but doesn't think things through, and he is an adult and shouldn't hide, but maybe his parents shouldn't come out for, like, the full gay experience. Like, I'm not sure that, like, shock and awe is the right approach.
Right. Yeah, it seems like maybe you introduce him to your boyfriend at Thanksgiving, you know?
Yeah.
And maybe everyone's wearing Dockers, you know?
Yeah, like maybe just exclusively the J. Crew collection for that dinner.
Yeah.
And maybe just introduce him as your friend, but
No, that's too much. It's a boyfriend. He's a boyfriend.
Okay.
But
the truth is out. Yeah.
Like, you don't
No
need to
contact.
watch us bang.
Yeah. There is probably a middle ground here. And
Sure.
it is, I'm interested. Hey, listeners, write in heypodmail@gmail.com as two people who have never had to come out to their parents. What's the right route here? Do you ease them in like a toad in a boiling pot of water? Or is it shock and awe Cheney style, hearts and minds will follow?
Yeah, well, now you say that, Garrett, but I do remember you repeatedly coming out to your parents, fake coming out, admittedly, to...
That was on behalf of my brother.
Oh, that's true. That's true.
Yeah,
You never
that wasn't
did,
me.
huh?
No. I came out on his behalf repeatedly on 6 Christmases in a row, and he never admitted it.
No, he just got married and had a kid.
Multiple.
Guy's deep into his lives.
Liar. I just wish we could have sold him a beard bride.
That's true.
He does well. We could have really raked in the...
Oh, and here's the thing, Garrett. If we make this a really high-class service, these brides can also steal from these guys for us.
Okay, keep talking. I'm not
that's
saying
pretty
no
much
yet.
it.
Oh, then probably no.
Oh.
I think you're putting too many fingers in the pie. Eventually, something's
okay.
going to grab the attention of people.
Okay, how about this? We sell somebody a beard bride. That guy wakes up one day, she's got a revolver pointed at his head and telling him to open that safe up, and we're standing in the room there. I mean, obviously, we're wearing masks, right? So they'll never be able to identify us.
Listen, Tim, you want to get devious? You want to pull a heist? Let's pull a heist. Okay, here's how we do it. They don't realize that the beard brides are legally marrying them. Then we catalog all of their strange sexual behavior that they're trying very hard to hide from their friends and family. We then blackmail them personally, you and I. Hold on, not done.
Okay.
While simultaneously, the beard bride takes him through the formal divorce proceedings, taking half of his actual shit. But you and I, on the side, blackmail.
I think we could just do the divorce thing.
I want to do both. I've always wanted to blackmail somebody.
We can, Garrett, if you want to blackmail somebody.
Yes, I do.
I don't know if you know this.
Do you know someone that we can blackmail? It can't be me.
No. Garrett.
Okay.
Your brother.
What do you know? Listen, I've come out on his behalf repeatedly in several formal and informal settings.
No.
Claims
Garrett,
no party.
it doesn't have to be about that. We'll trick him into something and we'll videotape it.
We really could.
Yeah, let's do it.
We really could. All right. Song continues. It's a struggle. Living like a good boy oughta. In the summer, watching all the girls pass by. Dude, it took me a while to piece this one together because it sounds like he's struggling to not comment on all these hot girls. But what he's really saying is it's hard to pretend to be attracted to women in front of your mom.
Disagree completely, Garrett. You see, he has murdered his girlfriend and he
He's getting the urge again.
Well, no. He has claimed that he is gay so that no one asks any questions, and now ladies are passing by, and he wants to look, but he can't.
Right,
because that'll give it away. If he looks lasciviously at even one of those women, his mom's going to be like, "You fucking killed her, didn't you?"
I knew it.
No, I just love her outfit. The tapered neck and high waistline. Is this working? Yeah, I killed her. Let's see. Song continues. When your mama heard the way that you'd been talking, I tried to tell you that all she'd want to do is cry. If that's the case, if your mom is going to cry based on the way you've been talking, you should not take her out to see your nightlife. Yeah, if she started weeping at words, a trip to the New Orleans is not going to be just what the doctor ordered.
Yeah.
Probably going to be like a giant dick slapping her in the face. Yeah. But again, I don't know. I'm speaking from a position of ignorance. hatepodmail@gmail.com. Is this the right way to go? Song continues. Now we end up taking the long way home, looking overdressed, wearing buckets of stale cologne. It's so hard to see streets on a country road when your glasses in the garbage and your Continental's just been towed. Successful night out. They're limping home the next morning. The car's been towed and they sound hammered, so that's probably not the worst thing.
Yeah. I once lost my car in West Campus for 2 weeks.
Where was it?
Remember where I parked it? It was behind towers.
God, that's funny. I vaguely remember you not being able to find it.
Yeah.
That had to have scared the shit out of you.
Well, I knew it was somewhere. There's a set area that it could be in, but it's such a big area.
It's like 30 square blocks.
Yeah.
God, that's funny.
Yeah.
Oh.
Plus, like, Austin was super toe heavy, so, like, there's a good chance it wasn't there anymore, and...
God, that's funny. Did you find it, or did somebody else?
I stumbled upon it. I was walking, I was literally not at that moment looking for it. I walked by and I was like, it's my car. And irritatingly, I didn't have my keys with me because, I wasn't out looking for my car at the moment. So I then had to walk back and get my keys and bring them back. You've gone silent, Carrot.
Yeah, I'm in awe. That's incredible. God, that's really funny.
Yeah.
That reminds me of when me and in our freshman year, we were at... We broke into the kitchen and stole a bunch of deli meat and cheeses. Mm-hmm. This was on a Friday, and then we drove back to our dorm, but forgot that we'd put them in the back seat.
Yeah.
And then didn't return to that car for like 5 days in the summer.
Yeah, that'll happen.
God. Anyway, back to the song. We are at the instrumental break, which is honestly quite odd. It's a weird little guitar solo. Doesn't really matter. Then we get the chorus one more time, and we're home free. Fun song, honestly.
Yeah.
But that brings us, Tim, to the music video, and this thing is a beast.
Yeah, this is the sort of thing was green screen invented like the year before?
No, this is a stylistic choice. It's definitely a paper cutout style. That's what they were going for.
Yeah.
And that's fine. I have no issue with it.
It does kind of feel like it came out, like it feels like something Blind Melon would have done in like 94.
Yeah, it's certainly low budget. It's all like construction paper style cutouts. I have no problem with it, aside from the fact that it doesn't seem to have anything to do with the music.
I think lyrics. I just realized why I assumed this song was about murder.
Why?
Because young Jacob, looks a lot like Casey Affleck.
Yes, he does. Why do you think Casey Affleck's a murderer?
Oh, because of that movie where he was the cowboy. It was really upsetting. Don't watch that movie.
Yeah, don't watch that movie.
A killer inside of me.
Yeah, the killer inside me, right?
Yeah, inside of me.
The killer inside of me?
It's probably just inside me.
It's based on a book. Anyway,
either way, yeah.
We begin in space for some reason. And a single star falls to Earth. Like, again, it's like a cutout piece of paper floating to the ground. The star bears a flower, and then that flower opens and spits out this band. The lead singer, Jake, pops out from nowhere, wearing overalls and a red bandana around his neck, and not much else.
Yeah, he really is a sexy farmer.
It's a pretty great outfit.
Yeah.
Then we cut to the lead guitarist, who is attracting his bandmate, animatronic, who gives him a big old kiss on the cheek. She has sort of a watered-down Suicide Side Girl aesthetic. Some tattoos, kind of a 50s thing.
Yeah.
Maybe slightly edgier B-52s. Anyway, then they're dancing and singing in Anna's hands. She's suddenly a giant, and then she flings them where else but back up into space. And from this point on, things start to get a little chaotic. Suddenly, the whole band is in space, and Jake is dancing and thrusting all over our solar system. And there's two of him for some reason. One wearing the classic overalls combo that I just described, and the other wearing what I am calling white angel overalls or angel-alls.
Oh, yeah. Yeah,
Now, folks, if you haven't seen the music video and you're, easy, Tim, quit rubbing your nerves. If you haven't seen the music video, why I call them angel-alls is they're white sequins overalls, but on the shoulder straps is fuzzy winged-like attachments? I don't know what to call it, so I call them angel-alls.
Yeah, no, I think it's a great description.
Thank you. Then we're rocketed back to Earth so that Jake can pretend to catcall Anna as she walks by him in the summer. Jake, of course, is lounging atop a piano seductively, as you do. Then we cut into a church that I think is supposed to also be his house, and we see a mother getting upset at something the guitarist is saying on the phone. In case you guys can't piece this together from the song we just listened to, it's pretty much acting out everything. We can see a real family of photos in the background inside that church house, so I suspect that's probably Jake's actual family. Then we get a brief cut back to space where a real cutout of a dog photo flies by. I don't know if you caught that one. It's odd. Then we're back to Earth again. Jake is walking home through a weird paper cutout forest. He's wearing what Prince wore to that 2004 tribute to George Harrison where he plays everybody else off the stage. I don't know if you've ever seen that, Tim. It's very much worth your time.
I have not.
It's like 6 minutes. I'll say it again. Prince 2004 tribute to George Harrison. You've seen this.
Yeah, he plays the guitar solo from While My Guitar Gently Weeps, and then
Tom Petty is like, I gotta go.
Yeah, and then at the end he throws his guitar in the air and it just disappears.
It just disappears, and it's real footage.
Yeah, and it does not appear to be attached to some sort of cable.
Nope.
Where does it go? Is there somebody directly above Prince at all times in case he throws something in the air that catches something to make it look like magic?
I don't know.
Probably
but this
not.
dude's wearing the same outfit.
Oh, yeah, okay.
Anyway, he's walking through the spooky forest, taking the quote-unquote long way home. Then there's more space dancing and the trail effect. I didn't mention the trail effect. So, like, just the I don't know how else to say it. Like, it's trailing images of people dancing, different band members. I do want to take a moment to highlight Jake's dance moves. The thrusting, the humping, the kicks, scissor kicking, scissor sister, scissor kicking.
Yeah, I'm into it.
He has what I call a signature move, which is like a scissor kick and then the leg out front, and then it's like a mini thrust. It's good stuff. It's good stuff. Tim and I have signature moves, but you have to pay to see them.
Or just find the feed.
Of course.
I love dancing during these episodes.
Yeah, sometimes it's a real pain in the ass to keep you in front of the mic. But that's pretty much the music video, Tim. Anything I leave out?
Well, the drummer is dressed as a cowboy, and he
Oh, okay.
just throwing that out there. Alleged.
Weird series of comments by Tim. That brings us to How Did It Do? So, Tim, I have to ask, how did it do?
This did okay. It hit number 23 on the Billboard charts, number 40 in Australia, number 12 on the Denmarkian Tracklisten, number 99 in Deutschland, number 44 in Greece, number 25 in Ireland, number 11 in New Zealand, number 10 in Scotland, number 53 on the Swedish Sverigetoplisten, number 17 on the UK chart, and number 80 in the Dutch. Now, the album did better. It hit number 1 in the UK, Scotland, and Ireland, although it only made it to number 102 on the US Billboard 200, number 67 inside of the Dutch. However, it was the best-selling album in the UK in 2004 by 582 copies, and it's a narrow margin.
Narrow.
And as of 2016, it is the 20th biggest-selling album of the 21st century and the 39th biggest-selling album of all time in the UK. It is certified non-upple platinum in the UK, quintuple platinum in Ireland. It has sold more than 3.3 million copies worldwide, although less than 0.3 of those millions were in the US. We, I guess, don't like gay-influenced music. Bigots.
Not at the
lot
time.
of you.
I think Lady Gaga broke that, though.
Oh, sure, yeah.
Wow, that was a great How Did It Do? Okay, Tim, what did people think of it?
Well, Garrett, there are 28 total ratings on Amazon, 4.6 out of 5 stars on average, 83% 5-star, 6% 1-star. Not a single one of them is worth a shit, so I went to YouTube. 4 years ago, Joshua Gaffney 4361 said, "This song reminds me of my hippie mother and the amazing relationship we had. I was a quote-unquote good boy, and what the hell, pretty handsome too, I suppose. Not to sound like an ass. I may maintained good grades, played sports, actually took the time to build a relationship with my high school sweetheart Kaylee, and her and I waited to become intimate. On the other hand, after my high school...
Wait until when?
Well, you'll see, Garrett.
I can't believe I'm going to see.
No, you're probably not going to see.
Oh, God damn it.
On the other hand, after my football games on Friday nights, I would often hang out with my mom on Saturday nights. Hearty eye emoji, hearty eye emoji. And we would listen to her vinyls and 45s, drink cheap liquor, and have an amazing time. She was always so proud of me and was my biggest fan, going to my games, coming to my rock band concerts, and just the sweetest woman ever. Mama, this beautiful song goes out to you. What a great song to dedicate to my mom. Hearty eye emoji, hearty eye emoji, hearty eye emoji. Now, Garrett, I don't want to be gross.
I don't see how you can't, but you're gonna.
That
Go
guy
ahead.
definitely banged his mom, right?
Tried to.
I don't know if tried to. He remembers this way too fondly for that to have been an awkward encounter.
Or his mom was trying to seduce him, and he remains clueless to this day.
Possibly.
Blissfully unaware.
Well,
It's like that rare but not completely unrelatable situation where you're all sitting around with a good friend trading hilarious stories, and then at the end of one of those stories, you have to turn in a very somber and honest voice and say, Tim, you were molested. That's not a funny story.
Garrett, your mom was trying to seduce you.
Yeah, in this case, it's, I don't know, 1,000 times worse because it's your mom? God.
Yeah,
I
anyway.
love in the best interpretation of that, this is just a self-centered narcissist who wanted to brag about how much he loves his mommy.
Yeah. Well, continuing on with the bragging, Cunt Destroyer 5093 because
I've never wanted to bleep a username.
because
Oh my God.
Cunt Destroyer 0001 to 5092 were taken 3 years ago. Just so you know, my straight white 23-year-old ass and my dad's 50-year-old ass absolutely enjoy this song. How can you not groove to these songs? Music is universal. Duh.
I think there's a real inclusive message in there hidden behind some weird phraseology.
Hidden behind the username Cunt Destroyer 5083.
Yeah, that is.
What if he doesn't mean it in a sexual way, Garrett?
Oh, maybe he's British.
Oh, wow,
Or
that's way
Australian.
better.
Yeah. And he's just out there ripping trolls. God, that's way better.
Anyway.
Let's assume he's Australian.
Irene Caligeros 4693 1 year ago. As a woman, I am upset that some good-looking men are gay, but to each their own. Bless this guy. He is very talented. Love the music and songs.
That's like the weirdest little Andy Rooney complaint about homosexual. It's like the least bigoted homophobia I've ever heard.
Yeah.
You know, I just wish we'd lose some of the uggos, you know? You can take the fatties, gays, leave some of the hot guys for us ladies. That's hilarious. Good for them.
Lindsay Marshall 6832 1 year ago. When I was about 15 and underage, me and my friends used to go to a club in Glasgow, and sometimes I would just happen to bump into my mom, who never batted an eyelid or wonder why I was in a nightclub on a Saturday night. The DJ would give me and my friends bottles of cheap champagne, and we would give my mom and her friends some. LOL. This song came out around that time and would play, so it feels kind of ironic. Listening to this at 38 brings back some funny memories. I wonder sometimes how I survived those days after drinking so much cheap champagne. Lindsay Marshall, you had a bad mom.
Yep, it's official. Put it on the board, Gino. The June 2023 Bad Mom goes to Lindsay Marshall's mom.
Yeah.
You've been hated.
Biggie 484, 12 years ago. Somehow, when I hear this, it makes me think of the Stones' Sympathy for the Devil. I don't know why. It just has that same vibe. Very cool band, this.
It does not. That's weird.
One more, Garrett. Corey Wright, 6595 from 7 years ago. I always thought this song was about the singer taking his friend's mama out because he liked older women. I still love this song and will keep the real meaning in the back of my head, but keep the taking an older woman out for a crazy night on the town meaning, because older women are my eye candy. I don't care if I'm 24 and people find it weird. I am who I am and I love older, 40 to 50, women.
That's not too creepy. Like he's
I
firmly
am
in his
who I am
20s.
and I love older women.
And at least he's not like saying like 70 and above.
Well, do you think so? That was 7 years ago. So now he is 31. Do you think he now loves 47 to 62-year-olds?
I would imagine. Or possibly older. People are looking younger and younger. He might have already stretched out to 70.
Interesting.
Which is gross.
Corey writes right in.
Yeah, heypodmail@gmail.com. Listeners, are you having sex with the elderly on purpose.
They are tricky. Sometimes they trick you into sex. The elderly, I mean.
That old lady tricked me into fucking her. What? I'm going to need to hear every detail of this story because I just don't see how that's possible. But that's a story for a different day. Tim, who's this for?
Everyone who loves joy.
What a lovely answer. That brings us to final thoughts. Is there anything that you've failed to say or any revelations you've had after talking about this song?
No.
I will add one small thing, and it is a positive. So Tim and I went to school in a fairly conservative area of the country among a fairly conservative group of jackasses. And this song did build bridges. It was, unabashedly very gay, and several men that would typically not enjoy this typical fare were so moved by the quality of this music that it was undeniable. There also may have been some sort of Pied Piper encouraging them along the way, but that's still progress.
That's true. And one of those guys now is trans. He's a trans lady.
Oh, that's right. Good for her.
Yes. Are you going to take credit for that? We'll see.
Probably. At least a little.
That might have been Sympathy for the Devil, though, that encouraged her.
Very similar song. Tim, do you hate this song?
Of course not. But I do still feel like there's some sort of unspoken hidden accusation here.
Oh, yeah. I really like it.
What?
I love the idea that somebody would come out in order to avoid being accused of murder. I think you've written a Netflix series once again. Tim, you shouldn't be saying these things on the on the internet. I think you may have just written a limited series for Netflix or possibly Hulu. When
Netflix, Hulu, please call.
I'm trying to think what age group, because I was thinking younger.
Yeah, I mean, it might have to be set in the 90s.
But that's true, to explain the bigotry.
Well, no, I think there's still plenty of bigotry, but it just makes it like
more severe.
Yeah, and it also makes it that people would be so shocked.
See, but that's true. But it can be much less about the shock, and because now it can be more just the surprise of it. You could set it in a modern time, and they're more just surprised because they're like, you've never once given us any indication. Like, normally somebody would have been like, oh yeah, I knew it. None of us knew it. Are you sure you're not covering up a murder?
Oh, there's the series. And okay, so then season 2 is after this makes the news, after this gets found out, then people start just, anytime somebody comes out, people are a little suspicious. Yeah, this person might be a murderer. And takes a real bigoted turn.
We'll probably just do the limited series thing.
Karen, do you hate this song?
Heavens, no. It's a fun song. It's a weird music video. It has spurred some of the most interesting conversation we've had on this show in weeks. 100% 5 stars across the board. I don't hate it. You don't hate it. I don't hate it. That brings us to listener mail, Tim, and I'm curious, would you like to go first, or would you like me to?
Oh, I'd love it if you went first this week, Garrett.
Alrighty. I'm going to go with my alternative email this week from Nathan. Nathan's email says, or his title is, Witchcraft Destroys Minds and Reaps Souls.
Oh, I agree.
Nathan writes, hello, Jim and Derek. Just listened to your God's Mac episode and wanted to say, yes, you should definitely do the full album. It has the words get back and go away over every horrible track. And it was insanely popular at my high school when it came out. But I also wanted to recommend another album for review for a late 60s band of actual witches called Coven. Now, that's mildly interesting, Tim, but what I'm about to read is the entire reason for the season. Listen to this. Entitled Witchcraft Destroys Minds and Reaps Souls. It features a song called Black Sabbath, and their guitarist's name is Oz Osborne.
Okay.
Coincidentally, the band Black Sabbath claims they've never heard of this album, even though it came out 1 year prior to their debut, and they both performed at the same event. It's very interesting.
What is Ozzy Osbourne's real name?
John Michael Osborne.
Oh, well, at least his last name is actually Osborne.
Yeah, and it's at least more conceivable to think that he could have had the nickname Oz.
Sure.
You know, it's interesting, Tim. It just occurred to me, you are one of the few male friends I have who was never referred to by his last name.
Yeah, it's too long of a last name.
Yeah, way too long. And your first name, coincidentally, very short. Although almost nobody called you by your first name in college, which is really funny.
Yeah. Cheddar.
Would you? Yeah, he never made that happen. Just him called you that, and I would shout at him. Well, I called you a series of women's names.
That's true.
For years.
There were a lot of names. There's Beefcake. There was Nitro.
Beefcake was the most. Yeah. Nitro. Nitro was because Tim dressed as the American Gladiator Nitro for one Halloween.
2 consecutive Halloweens, because the first year there was an incident, and there was an incident.
Nitro was defeated by Jack Daniels the first year. And eliminated it. Anyway, email continues from Nathan. A very interesting album and a very interesting band. Also, thanks for making it so easy to steal your thoughts. And sorry, I keep stealing your thoughts. Jesus Christ, I have no idea what that's about. And I also have a second email, Tim, because it's also it's a good recommendation, and I just wanted to get it out into the ether, and it's one sentence. It's from Tyler. He said, you should do Viva Las Vengeance by Panic at the Disco. It is a mind-blowingly horrible album. It's an album of strange mashup consisting of classic rock songs with strained vocals and horrid production.
Well, we also have to do A Fever You Can't Sweat or whatever by Panic at the Disco at some point.
Yeah, listeners, which one should we do?
Let's do a double album.
Oh, fuck you. Never again. Never again. If anything, we'll take an album and split it into 2 episodes. That's it for my mail. Tim, did you bother to get mail this week?
Well, sort of, Garrett. I got a email that basically has no textual content, but does include a couple of pictures.
Okay. You know this is a mostly audio medium, right?
Garrett, you are out of excuses when Sam Mastrati at szm.designs on Instagram, whomsoever created the current podcast artwork, wrote in to say she would like to make another version, and you so far have failed to get back in touch with her. I asked her for one more thing. I asked her for her friend AJ, aka Alan, to listen to the show again, and I asked for his ears, Garrett. And I feel like he's teasing me because he recently sent us an email titled, So I Hear You Want My Ears, sick, with photos of his ears, both of them. And that, Alan, was a little weird.
Yeah, I'm pretty uncomfortable about the whole thing. Why did you want his ears?
Our auto-suggestion prompts on the email suggested I write back either beautiful poem or so cute. But I have something else to say, Garrett. And Alan, I accept your offer. I will take your ears. You have offered your ears and I want them. Give them to me.
Alan, this is going to sound extreme, but I want you to listen to what I'm about to say and take it under true advisement as somebody who lives with this 20 plus hours a day. Just give him your ears.
Yeah, just do it.
Whatever happens in your effort to not give him your ears will be so much worse. And at the end of all of it, you will give him those ears. So I don't know why he wants them. You might even get them back. It might just be to see if he gives them to you. Give them to him.
I will send you an ear-sized cooling unit that I happen to have to keep those babies fresh until they reach me. I will give you a self-addressed envelope. I will honor your ear sacrifice.
What are you going to do with those?
I don't know. Haven't decided yet. I might just give them back. Garrett, write Sam back, you lazy fuck. Get us that new podcast art. Ears are going to start pouring into the studio if you don't do this. You son of a bitch.
I don't know what to tell her. Like, what are we doing?
She's going to make us new artwork.
Right, but I think we're supposed to, give her some direction.
I don't know. That's why you need to email her, Garrett.
Well, it sounds like you're telling me to, think up an idea.
No, I'm telling you to communicate with her. Figure out what we're doing. She addressed this to you.
We're going to take it off, Mike. That's because you don't answer emails.
That's not true. Anyway, Garrett, we also have a new song, a Kanye Watch song, submitted by Nico, one of our most deranged listeners, the one that wrote the incredibly uncomfortable concept album Elmo Goes Emo. He also has the bands The Unapologetics and Sleepovers at Uncle's. He is a strange guy, but here is his song.
Okay, we'll still send a code 3.
Kanye watch, see him on the news, wearing shoulder pads and the carousel shoes. Kanye watch, nightman on the loose, everything you say and do make the world confused.
Not bad at all.
Not bad. Nico, better than that weird pornographic lyrics you've been sending us. Stop doing that. Stop thinking them up. Stop sending them to us. Just stop. But keep doing this.
Great emails, Tim. That brings us to Music News of the Weird. Would you like to go first or would you like me to?
Well, I definitely want to go first, Garrett.
Okay.
Is that okay with you?
That's completely fine with me.
Oh, okay. All right.
It's fine.
Well, you look super angry.
Yeah, I know, because you're just making a thing out of it. I said it's fine. You don't have to ask 6 times. It's fine. Just, it wasn't fine. I'm sorry. It wasn't fine. I really wanted to go first, and I took it out on you. You know what? I'm going to be the bigger man. You go ahead.
Music news of the weird.
In Are You Familiar with Bebe Rexha news this week? Garrett, are you familiar with Bebe Rexha?
I think it's BB, but
Bebe.
I am, but only in the context of this story, and it's great.
Well, Garrett, the singer of the Grammy-nominated I'm Good Blue recently performed right here in the Big Apple, Pier 17, and some New Jersey trash came to our fair city to see it, most notably Nicholas Malvagna, aged 27. Now, Mr. Malvagna proceeded to throw his cellular telephone at her, striking her in the right eye, causing her to collapse to her knees and then need stitches. He is, of course, being charged with multiple counts of assault and harassment and etc. Now, his lawyer, Todd Spodek, and let me pause right here. Don't hire a lawyer named Todd. Come on.
Yeah, that's not. Don't hire anything named Todd. Todd's right in. HeyPodmail@gmail.com. What's it like going through life being named Todd? I knew one Todd. He was a registered sex offender. Are you a registered sex offender? Right in. Title it Todd's. Todd life. It's a Todd life.
His lawyer, Todd Spodek, said, as a fan, Mr. Malvagna's sole intention was to have Miss Rexha take photos with his phone and return it as a keepsake. It was never his intention to injure Miss Rexha. Now, this is apparently a tickery-tockety trend where you throw your phone up there and the person's supposed to take, which I don't understand. How are you supposed to get this phone back, right? Anyway, he's throwing away essentially what consists of a pocket-sized supercomputer at this lady. It doesn't matter. It's fucking stupid.
Just on the hopes that everyone there will help him to get it back.
Yes.
But basically, for did you watch the video?
I did, yes.
Jesus Christ! Why did he throw it at full speed?
Yeah. Now, that argument by that lawyer was undercut somewhat when Mr. Malvagna himself, who allegedly said, I was trying to see if I could hit her with the phone at the end of the show because it would be funny.
Did he really?
He did. He said that. He said that to the security, and he's recorded saying that.
Oh my! I thought for sure he was just like, oh, I'm gonna get some sweet selfies. Take a photo, and then just hit her in the fucking head. No, he tried to hit her in the head. I mean, if you watch the video, folks, and God, I recommend you do. He hurls it so hard directly at her face and hits the corner. You said right eye. I could have sworn it was left.
Oh, maybe it's left.
And hits the corner of her eye perfectly. I know from personal experience, I got hit in the exact same spot once in each eye by different hockey sticks on different days. That fucking hurts.
Yeah.
God, he's going to jail.
Yeah, he is.
I thought for sure he would plead it down to a misdemeanor and just be like, oh, I'm sorry. I wanted some selfies, baby.
Well, that's what his lawyer Todd is trying to do.
Sure, but that videotape, not so good.
Yeah.
God, that's awesome.
Yeah. Anyway, Garrett, do you have other news involving Mr. Todd Spodek or his client, Mr. Malvagna?
Of course not, but I do have other music news of the weird in Grammy Awards remain to be completely irrelevant despite all their efforts news. The Grammy Awards will be introducing 3 new categories according to The Hollywood Reporter. These additions include Best African Music Performance, Best Pop Dance Recording, and Best Alternative Jazz Album. Now, Tim, as we become more of a global society, this of course makes some sense, but I will ask listeners, Tim, Best Alternative Jazz Album? There are that many alternative jazz albums that necessitates this category.
Can I make a suggestion? Perhaps you misread this. Perhaps it is Best Alternative to a Jazz Album. So
I would love that.
It's anything except for jazz is considered in this category.
That's fantastic. It's a great catch-all. It's better than jazz. Oh, Green Day won again. In additional Grammy news, sorry robots, the Recording Academy has created a new rule that stipulates, quote, only human creators, end quote, can win the music industry's highest honor in a decision at the use of AI in popular music. However, if you dig a little bit deeper, what they say is the work must contain some or significant human authorship, not no human authorship. So you can still pretty much write a song with robots.
Cool.
Tim, what other news do you have?
Well, Garrett, let's say in bombastic news this week, Garrett, Shaggy has a clarification for all of you that are out there fucking around on your significant other based on his Bart Simpson-like advice. In a recent interview, he explained that his song, It Wasn't Me, is actually an anti-cheating song. He says, there's a part in the record where it's a conversation between two people and you have one guy, which is me at that point, giving bad advice. Like, yo, bro, how could you get caught? Just tell her it wasn't me. And then at the end, the guy says, I'm going to tell her that I'm sorry for the pain I've caused. I've been listening to your reasoning. It makes no sense at all. Going to tell her that I'm sorry for all the pain I've caused, etc., etc. Nobody hears that part. That's what the song says, but everyone's just caught up on that. It wasn't me. It wasn't me. It's an anti-cheating song. No one ever really buys into that. And I keep explaining it to people. Then they go back and listen and they're like, oh, dude, I totally missed that. Shaggy, here's the problem. You made the cheating part, the pro-cheating part, far too catchy, and you hired Rick Rock for the other part. Nobody cares about Rick Rock. And even if this whole thing is true, it means that you are a poor enough writer that people misinterpreted your bad advice for good advice. It's sort of the same problem with Sublime's date rape. You have to know your audience.
Oh, God. Yeah. I was going to say it's more of a Meatloaf situation. I would do anything for love.
Sublime. Sort of
I know you're...
situation. Sublime fans are bad people.
I agree.
Garrett's other news, go.
My other news, Tim, is in... how do I want to title this? In sad music news of the weird news, Slipknot's original vocalist, Anders Kolsefny, is set to perform the band's demo tape, Mate, Feed, Kill, Repeat, in full, on tour, without the rest of the band. Slipknot released the demo tape in 1996 when Kolsefny fronted the band. Corey Taylor, of course, took over in 1997. Later this year, the band's ex-frontman will perform Mate, Feed, Kill, Repeat in full on a 12-date run through Australia and New Zealand. Somehow making it sadder, Corey gave his blessing over Twitter, tweeting, quote, really wish I could be there to see these shows, but I know Anders Kolsefny is gonna crush them, end quote. Right?
Yeah, that's
right?
sad.
Yeah.
That's sad. That's not an endorsement.
No, don't do that. Don't do this. Yeah, you're so insignificant that we don't mind that you're literally just ripping us off. So is he just there alone with the one mask?
Oh, hopefully it's solo acoustic.
Okay, you know what? We're going to Australia. Oh my God, that would be amazing. Listeners, write in, heypodmail@gmail.com. Can we stay at your house in Australia? Only in the nice places.
General.
No. Tim, what other news do you have? Go.
In Why I Hate This Album, Worlds Collide this week. Youngblood has been collaboing with Limp Bizkit. They were both playing at Rock im Park in Germany, and FED invited Dickie Dom up on stage to sing Break Stuff with them, and that pink sock bastard was super into it. Now, Garrett, that's not much of a story, but it is worrisome, because I do not think I have it in me to listen to a future Youngblood and the Limp Bizkits album for this show. I don't think I can do it. Like, we still have to do that stupid Sting Shaggy album, and I can't
Haunts
do
my nightmares. Young Biscuit.
Ooh.
Limp Blood.
Limp Blood is the winner. Such limp blood.
Gross.
Yeah. More news. Garrett, go.
In more news about robots, as Tim knows, and many of you may or may not, a new Beatles song is coming out. Recently, a song that John Lennon had been tinkering on before his death was recovered, but prior to very recently, the audio was so bad that it could not be used. Thanks to recent advancements in artificial intelligence, Paul, quote, Metaguy, which is an odd way to say that could separate the voice from the noise and give them a clean vocal with which they could complete a song. The song comes out later this year, and while the Beatles did record it and it is using a demo that John made by himself, it has become a bit of a controversy. This pissed a bunch of people off. They're saying, hey, don't do this. You're bastardizing a not real John Lennon song. If you're using AI to fill in all the audio, we don't want this. And Tim, I think that was kind of your reaction.
Well, my reaction is I hope it sucks. It'll be funny.
Wait, what?
No, I hope it's a very Paul and Ringo forward track.
No, you don't.
I do.
No one's ever said that. Why?
Because it's funny.
God,
it's so funny. Garrett, imagine how funny it would be if they said, we've got a new Beatles track coming, and then it was just a Paul McCartney and Ringo Starr essentially solo track. They're
you
the
see
Beatles.
John at the end. Yeah.
Yeah.
Anyway, this did create a bit of a hubbub online because people were worried that it was just computer trickeration. So much so that several people reached out to John Lennon's son, Sean Lennon, and were like, bruh, the fuck? more or less. And so Sean replied and said, listen, I think people don't understand what Paul was saying. Previously, this was just super garbled, and there's always been ways for us to remove the noise from an audio track, but up until very recently, we didn't have anything that could do it well enough to use this. Now, computers are really good at saying that's a voice, that's a music, separate it. We were able to do it. We're not adding anything. In fact, we're pulling something away. Everybody chill the fuck out. I've heard it. It's really good. All we're doing is denoising it. Just relax. So I am cautiously optimistic. Tim is, of course, pessimistic because at some point along the way, we broke him and he is now just constantly looking to laugh like some sort of Joker character. Great.
Yes.
Tim, any other news?
Yes, one last story, Garrett, and we should help the Asian community news this week. Rivers Cuomo wants to write a Weezer musical. He is out of ideas and he is asking fans to help him write the story. He said, does anyone want to help me write the story for a musical, which would be the next Weezer album? We could make a follow-up to Songs from the Black Hole or just start afresh. Anything, really. I don't have anything. Now, Songs from the Black Hole is, of course, the unfinished space-themed rock opera that was abandoned because it was lame and then turned into Pinkerton, which is creepy and sinister, but not exactly lame, although it's kind of lame. But seriously, Garrett, any ideas at all? If you have heard the last 13 Weezer albums, they have not had any ideas since 1996, and I would argue they have not had any good ideas since 1994. This is our opportunity to help them. We could give him one of the many movie ideas we have been developing live on this very show and steer him away from Godzilla-ing Japan. Perhaps he makes a show about, or he makes a musical or a long-form music video directed by Spike Jonze and scored by Weezer about some sort of beard brides. It could be anything.
Well, here's the thing, Tim. I am immediately suspicious. What show routinely builds jukebox musicals whole cloth, completely new, and they're innovative and interesting?
Bob's Burgers?
No, we do. Also Bob's Burgers. They do it way better. But we also do it in a legally distinct way that is also much less impressive. So, God, I wish you hadn't said that. It is as accurate as it is damning. Anyway, what album did we cover specifically? We covered Pinkerton, Tim. That was, I think this is coded messaging. He's referencing the musical knowing that you'd trace it back to Pinkerton. He wants us to help him with a Pinkerton musical based on his weird terrarium dreams that we've been, theorizing about. I think it's a dog whistle directly to you and I.
That's fair. Now, I hate Rivers Cuomo, but I'll take some of his Rivers Cuomo money.
Oh, we will help you write that musical.
Yeah.
There's going to be some ground rules, but quite honestly, Tim, put a slightly different way. What makes more sense? Rivers Cuomo just invited the entire world to help him write a musical wholesale from new, or he pretended to and used a series of clue-like words, knowing you would pick it up here on Music News of the Weird and bring it to my attention. Which one seems more likely?
Definitely the second. Yeah.
Obviously. I really do want to work on Beard Brides, though. I'm pretty hot and heavy on that.
Yeah.
If we can sell them on that.
Either the show or the business idea. Either one. I think they're both winners. Yeah.
Yeah. And by business, we do mean prostitution.
What if we become pimps, right?
Mm-hmm.
And then we write a story about it that's caged with the assumption that parts have been fictionalized, probably the most illegal parts, and then we sell our definitely true story, but for legal purpose fictionalized to Netflix or Hulu or ideally HBO. Max. And, do that.
I don't think we have to personally own it. I think we can do the business, which is the crime.
Right, let's commit the crimes. Go on.
Sure. And then we can also have the show, and never the twain shall meet.
Oh, sure. And in fact,
your way involves prison.
You know what we could do? We could use the show to either get out of some of the crimes. We could say we were just doing research, like Winona Ryder, or we could pull a Sharon Stone from Basic Instinct and say, you don't think we'd be stupid enough to do exactly what we were doing in the show in real life, right?
Right. Yeah. No, that sounds pretty ironclad.
Foolproof.
But anyway, we can't get stuck back in this business. We're almost done.
We could talk about it a little more, right?
Off mics. Jesus Christ. Let's see. Where were we?
Well, Garrett, that is my Rivers Cuomo news for the week. What about you? Are you done with your news?
I do have one more story, Tim, but I do want to make sure we don't forget this. You and I have a legitimate opportunity and I think invitation, personally, personal invitation to work exclusively with Rivers Cuomo. This is weird.
Yeah.
I'm sure he's heard every episode of the show. That's going to be uncomfortable.
He's definitely heard the Rivers Cuomo related episodes.
That's a lot of them. That's more than I remember even. Anyway, back to my final music news of the weird. It's really got a theme this week. In continuing robot news, KBBF Live 95.5 this week put on a new radio DJ. That DJ's name? AI Ashley, making it the world's first radio station with a completely AI DJ, according to the company. The system, which will be broadcasting between 10 a.m. and 3 p.m., is and this is where things get really upsetting, cloned version of midday host Ashley Elzinga. Its voice is an almost exact replica of the real DJ, and TechCrunch writes that AI Ashley is powered by Futuri Media's Radio GPT, a tool that uses OpenAI's ChatGPT-4 to generate a script based on news from over 250,000 digital outlets and social media platforms, and it reads all of this in a synthetic voice. I watched and listened to this radio show. It is indistinguishable. It is, there's an example of not, and not even like doing the easy stuff, like that was blah, 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 coming up next, the Kinks, blah, 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 blah. She calls a contest winner. I said she, that's creepy. It calls a contest winner and lets her know she won tickets to see Taylor Swift, asks who she's going to bring to the concert, and then when she talks about her niece or whatever, she's like, oh, that's great. How old is she? Is she a Swiftie? You're just like, this is all a robot. I highly recommend everybody check it out. Now, obviously, the internet's in an uproar. How dare you do this? This is going to take everyone's jobs. You're going to start phasing out DJs.
Definitely going to take Ashley's job.
Yes, they did address that. She will have a limited capacity on air going forward, and she'll work more on social media and backroom work. But it's going to take everybody's job because it turns out the media company, Alpha Media, they own over 200 radio stations across America.
Interesting.
Now, it took me a while, Tim, and I finally found it. Do you recall a Simpsons episode that predicted this exact situation?
Yeah, the chatbot 2000 or something?
Something like that. Yeah, KBBL, replaced by DJ Tron 2000 or some shit like that.
Yeah. Don't compliment the machine.
Only this time, this thing works. It's really disturbing. It's the first time through all this chat GPT AI business, and I do a fair amount of it from where I've gone like, oh, we're like doing this. Like robots are taking jobs today.
Excellent.
I
can only hope to get one for this show.
Interesting.
If we got to listen, we make a robot listen to all of our episodes thus far, and if that robot doesn't kill itself, we could replace both of us with robots. We'd have a lot more free time, and they don't need money. What they need, oil. Oil's cheap. We'll get them some oil. And then
they don't need oil. Please don't put oil in the computers.
My point is, Garrett, I'm going to keep them
with you. Step
nice
3,
and oiled. And then, maybe we have a bunch of different podcasts featuring us. Maybe we have a movie podcast featuring us. Maybe, God. And so we have like 10 podcasts. We monetize all of those. Get these stupid suckers that are listening to this shit's money.
Oh boy, we're going to bleep a lot of that sentence.
Point being.
Valued listeners.
Let's do this.
Yeah. What's creepy is we might have enough to do this.
Oh, yeah.
Interesting.
No, it's super easy.
Would not say it's super easy.
Garrett.
What?
Most
Alrighty, Timmy. That brings us to my favorite part of the show because it means we're near the end where we announce what album we'll be talking about next week. So lay it on me, friend. What album will we be listening to for an entire week straight before we come back here and acknowledge whether or not we hate it?
Well, Garrett, next week we are diving back into the 90s. We're going to be listening to the Wallflowers 1996 album, Bringing Down the Horse. It's a good album. It's a real good album. I own this album, Garrett. I like this album.
You love it. It's clear you love it. You reference it in non-podcast life more than I'd like.
Listen to the album with me, and maybe we won't have to do that.
It would be pretty interesting if next week I get on here and I'm like, yeah, I kind of like this album. I don't think that's going to happen, but it would be a first, and that would be interesting.
Well, now, Garrett, I think it has a chance of happening because this, and this is true, is a good album.
No.
1 headlight, 3 Marlenas.
I don't know what that second thing was.
The only difference that I see is
I do know
are
that
exactly the same as we are exactly the same. Something's exactly the same as it used to be.
Right. All right. Well, let's save it for next week. That ends it for this week. If you can, rate, review, subscribe, follow, I don't know, send us fistfuls of sweat sweaty cash through the mail. Support us.
Ooh, Bitcoin or some sort of cryptocurrency on a flash drive in the mail, untraceable.
Yep, that is a thing.
If it helps, we promise we will not declare it on our taxes.
Oh, we're gonna get so many viruses.
Oh.
Anyway,
Well, okay, you've got that air-gapped computer that you never let me use. What's that for?
it's not important. Anyway, I made me lose my track. We got Instagram, that's HatePod. Twitter is Album HatePod. I'm G Harvey Tweets. Let's get social. Reach out. HatePodMail@gmail.com. Continue with your song submissions, your artwork submissions, your segment submissions, your recommendations, albums and singles. We want to hear them all. We've got subreddits. We've got Discord servers. Although maybe our subreddit's gone black in protest. Who's to say? We don't run it. Maybe. Anyway.
We know the Discord has gone black, but sort of in a metaphorical sense.
What? Oh, yeah. Yeah. Dark forces afoot. Anyway, what a weird note to end on. For Why I Hate This Album, I have been one of your hosts, Garrett Harvey.
I have been the other, Timothy P. Richardson, and on May 16th, 2023, recently enough that we know Garrett has not gone on from this statement, Garrett P. Harvey said, "The butthole is the volcano of the human body."
I stand by that.
Hot lava.
I did not say that part. You added that.
There's cowboys running through my dreams. Nothing's quite the way it seems. I joined the Navy, got kicked out in a week. My facial features aren't distinct. Try to find some meaning in these songs. The genius is a genius, got it wrong. No, it's a lobster murder sex thing. It's the bleaching of the rear. A full assault on both your ears. The riffs are too repetitive. The lyrics make no sense. All the songs are B-sides. The cover art's a mess. Listen to it for a week. Now that week has passed. It's the Why I Hate This Album podcast with Tim and Gary.